If there's ever been a more anticipated game, I don't know if anything can reasonably match the anticipation that is surrounding Grand Theft Auto 6. This game is going to be a crazy seller, we can all agree. However, the more that you look into it, the more twisted everything becomes, and the industry as a whole is kind of hoping that GTA 6 saves them from the utter oblivion that they created themselves. One of the longest running mobile games of all time just keeps getting better with fan favorite characters like the Alice in Wonderland lineup that you can use to save Teleria. And you've got a full lineup of legendary champions like Alice the Wanderer, the Cheshire Cat, the Mad Hatter, the Knave of Hearts, and the Queen of Hearts, all reimagined in a gritty new style. Alice, for example, is an absolute menace. She's a high damage attack legendary who can control enemy cooldowns while boosting her own damage, which basically means that she can hit hard and more often. And then there's also the Cheshire Cat. This version is twisted and uses attacks like Perfect Veil, speed manipulation, and even turn chaining, which makes Cheshire Cat incredibly hard to deal with in battle. If you like fast and aggressive, this guy's your pick. On top of that, if you download Raid via my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, you're also going to get a huge starter pack, a free legendary Elenaril from the High Elves champion, and once you hit level 15, you will also unlock Tagoar, a top tier epic from the Orc faction as well. Now here's the part you don't want to miss about all of this. If you're a new player, you can choose one of 5 promo codes to instantly unlock a free legendary champion. BIGDAWG gets you Turvold, Get Alice for Alice, KITTYCUT for Cheshire Cat, GOFAST for Razelvarg, and Wrath for Grand Oak Pedrake. I'd recommend Alice myself. She's very versatile and she will carry you through the early and mid-game content. But there's a catch to all this. You got 48 hours after downloading via my link to claim all of this, and it only works if you use my link or QR code on screen. So if you go through the App Store normally, these bonuses cannot be claimed. So if you haven't tried Raid already, one of the longest running mobile games of all time, now is the best time to try it out. Click the link, grab your free legendary, and get to playing. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. The only way I can properly frame what GTA 6 is to the AAA industry is that it's as if the entire game space is holding their breath, just waiting for it to come out. It's the sort of game that's either going to make or break the entire industry. And you may think, no way, really? But yeah, that's real. You see, GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game of all time. Well, until GTA 7 eventually comes out. I'll be like 80 years old when that happens. But what the rest of the industry is probably thinking is that not only must GTA 6 win, but it has to win big, unreasonably actually. And it has to cost more, otherwise everything is just going to get obliterated. You see, you gotta pay more money for GTA 6, really all games in general, but why? Because if you don't, apparently, everything is going to fall into a black hole. Here's IGN's article on it. Video game industry would have difficulty selling games for $80 if GTA 6 cost $70, Bank of America says. That's right guys, the Bank of America of all things has now entered the chat to tell us what to think. And they are swinging their meat around like it's Guts' two-hander, looking to see if anyone is willing to disagree with them. So why this take? Well, this comes from Omar Dasuski, I probably said that wrong, who's a part of the global research team over there, that GTA 6 cannot cost $70. Because by the standards of the industry, Rockstar has to charge you more than every other game before it. Why, you may be asking? Because the game industry is dying, in alarming ways too. You see, in order to stay in business, you gotta make money. Wow, I know, very amazing of me to say. Well, the thing is that people aren't really buying the AAA games as often as you know. There's a lot of reasons, stupid politics being implemented that alienate the audience. In general, games just being too expensive, and of course, the fact that many games, when they do release day one, they are objectively in the worst state that they can possibly be in, meaning that a lot of people just wait. They then buy these games a year, maybe 2 after release, and then when it comes out, it's packaged with all the DLC for a fraction of the price. All the bugs are fixed, and whatever that was wrong with it is usually good by then, unless your name is Starfield, but anyways. Is that good for the consumer? Absolutely. Is it bad for the industry? Absolutely. Because companies need to make money. In GTA and Rockstar's case, they're going to make money no matter what they do. But I think waiting on or hoping that GTA 6 is the one to pull the switch to $80 being the new meta is kind of ridiculous. As we all know, Nintendo already tried to do this. It didn't work for them for the most part either. Switch 2 sales were down over 33% when it first came out in that whole winter period time. Like, their games are uncharacteristically also going on sale earlier than expected too. I covered this in a previous video already, but the point is that if Nintendo in their own closed ecosystem, where they can gatekeep all of their exclusive titles to their own system that you can't play anywhere else, and they still even then couldn't convince enough people that $80 USD was the new meta for their games, even though it was like Zelda and Mario Kart and all that stuff. Like, what hope does the rest of the industry have? Like, Nintendo had brand recognition, guys, like to the ultimate degree, and it still didn't work. As IGN shows here from the analyst and Bank of America story, as you can see, this analyst is not suggesting that GTA 6 be $80. They're saying that it has to happen or all hell will break loose. I mean, there's good reason for this because, games need to break even by selling however many copies. We know that. So what do you think? How many copies does GTA 6 need to sell to break even? Let me know what you think. Is it maybe 2 million, 5 million, I don't know, 9 million? As the phrasemaker.com reported here, GTA 6 needs to sell 25 million copies to break even. That's not even a profit. That's just a return on investment. Where does this information come from? It's from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, so it's real. According to what Jason Schreier has already reported, the expectations behind the scenes on GTA 6 are, to put it simply, terrifying. Because if the game, for whatever reason, doesn't hit the milestones that Rockstar has planned for it, the results are going to be disastrous. Currently, Rockstar has what is being said via Bloomberg as unlimited resources to get this game done on time. Because they want it to be perfect when it releases. If the game sells 10 million in a week, it will be seen as a disaster according to Rockstar, which is crazy. Let me put that in perspective for you, okay? This means that GTA 6 needs to sell almost the lifetime sales of Elden Ring right now just to break even. And that is crazy, I know, considering how big of a success Elden Ring was, although, again, this is Rockstar that we're talking about. They're in a league of their own. The likelihood is that GTA 6 will sell millions of copies. I mean, GTA 5 is one of the highest selling games of all time and still continues to sell in the millions to this day. Red Dead Redemption 2, by the way, is also one of the highest selling games of all time too, sitting somewhere close to 100 million copies sold. I mean, the hype and the anticipation for GTA 6, it's going to be like nothing that we've ever seen before when it drops. According to the reports from Phrasemaker and Bloomberg, the current budget of GTA 6 from development and marketing is projected to hit somewhere near $2 billion over, well, that is real, that is insane. This is an Avengers level money crash out if we've ever seen one, okay guys? Games like Cyberpunk 2077, that game took years to hit 25 million copies sold, which is a huge success, by the way. GTA 6 then needs to make what Cyberpunk made in like all the years that it's been out in maybe a week or a month tops, that's even pushing it, just to recoup its costs alone. Honestly, it's not sustainable. I mean, for anyone who isn't Rockstar, and like even for Rockstar too, this money sinkhole is absolutely insane considering the financial risks that are involved here. Here's what IGN said about this pricing. Analyst opinions on the GTA 6 price are all over the place, with some saying Rockstar should stick with $70, others saying it could easily justify going up to $100. Depending on what the company does with the next iteration of GTA Online, GTA 6 is on course to be the biggest entertainment launch of all time. Selling tens of millions of copies on day one, it will undoubtedly change the video game industry forever, not just in terms of how financially successful a video game can be, but in terms of how much video games should cost going forward. That is scary, dude. IGN then further states, as you can also see there, that the Bank of America analyst believes that if GTA 6 were to cost $70, it would be a catastrophic miscalculation for the rest of the games industry, because nobody in their right minds could then charge their games for any price beyond that, because the inevitable comparison would then be, if you charge me $80 for, say, I don't know, Super Mario or even Call of Duty, how is that game worth more than what's being presented in GTA 6, right? A massive open world, physics like we've never seen before. I can already imagine all the YouTube videos of people going into autistic detail, finding every little nuance and mechanics that Rockstar has implemented. Oh my god, I can't wait for those videos, dude. I can't wait to see, like, look how the beer bubbles and pops in the glasses. Look how the glass on the windows when you shoot them explode. Look, there's glass in the car. I can't wait for those detailed videos, dude. But either way, it's true, right? Like nobody's going to be able to sell their game or convince you that, hey, our game that is 1/10 the size of GTA 6 is somehow worth the same price, especially to the casual player. Like the Bank of America analyst said more. We also heard from attendees that the industry, which is perceived as struggling, would have difficulty selling games for $80 if GTA 6 came out at $70. We think it's in Take-Two's self-interest as a publisher and partner to many developers to raise the price point for the entire industry. So you heard it there, but that's the thing, right? Even if Take-Two, which owns Rockstar, did this, it would, in my opinion, not really help the rest of the industry. Because, like I said, most people will just wait for most games then to get their DLC packs go down in price, have all the bugs removed, and then they'll buy it at discounted prices anyways. The reality is that the industry thinks that they can get away with this, but they really can't, because GTA 6 is an anomaly. It's a once-in-a-generation sort of game. Or I guess 2 generations, since there wasn't a new GTA game on PS4 technically, but you get the idea. They can't justify this either way. GTA 6 can be any price that they want it to be. It could be $100, and people are still going to buy it. Hell, I would buy it too. You kidding me? Nothing is stopping me, okay, from seeing those beer bottles bubble, from seeing the glass explode in car. I can't wait to just shoot tires. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to just throw people off of buildings in GTA just to see the ragdoll physics. Every grandma that is going to exist in GTA 6 is not going to be safe for me. I am going to hit grandmas with like sports cars at 200 miles per hour, and I want to see the most realistic gore I've ever seen in a video game be applied to every model of every person that I hit in that game. Dude, I cannot wait to play this game. But either way, right, like they're crazy. Because that being said, if the rest of the industry thinks I'm going to spend $100 on like a Call of Duty or some Lego game or like whatever else, they're crazy. $100 for most games is only justified if I'm getting some sort of like deluxe or maybe a collector's edition of the game, right? Otherwise, it's not going to happen. If you think most people will be okay with this, like I said, if Nintendo of all people can't even strong arm their faithful fans into buying their games at $80, what makes you think that anybody else can? The likelihood is that most games will just flop outright, people will turn more to free to play, or they will just buy one game like a GTA 6 and just play that for like a year or two alone, right? Via its online mode and its story and whatnot. There's going to be tons to do until eventually they pick something else up for dirt cheap. Like again, I'm going to be throwing grandmas off buildings. You can't put a price on that. And you really can't blame them either, right? Because stuff is too expensive. Like, let me put it this way, okay? Every month, at the beginning of every month, right, I go and buy groceries. It's always more or less the same amount of things that I buy, okay? Fruits, meat, cereal, milk, you name it. So a year ago, my usual grocery order was maybe about $300 or so Canadian, right? Give or take. That's still a lot of money. Price. I eat a lot. Like, look at me. I know. But anyways, well, today, literally, as I'm writing this, I went to the grocery store before this to buy my monthly stuff. Same amount of things, same brands, all of it. I paid $450 for the same amount of food a year later. That is a 50% increase in what I spent a year ago for the same amount of food, give or take. Now, food aside, right, which is already wildly expensive, you now go look at rent or mortgage, car payments, whatever someone's kid needs, or maybe your pet's food, your phone bill, internet, water, electricity, the monster you keep in the basement that you have to feed. Like, it just keeps adding up. And after everything is paid for, you sit back and look and realize that 9 times out of 10, you're getting robbed blind for simply trying to exist these days. And now you want to sit down after doing all your adult things like paying bills and screaming into the void and stocking your shelves, and you just want to enjoy a good video game, and you think the majority of people are going to spend all that money? Look at whichever game that isn't called GTA 6 and go $100. Are you being for real right now? They're not going to do it. Like, I buy games on sale too, because even as someone who covers games, I think a lot of games are still overpriced. Like recently, I bought One Piece Odyssey on PS5 because it was on sale on PSN. The game was on sale for $8. That game is normally priced at $80 Canadian. Me waiting allowed me to get the same game for 10% of its price, with all the bug fixes and the content added. Like, why is that not a good deal? You are out of your mind if you think most people will be paying these prices, because they won't. They're just going to wait, or they're going to move on. Then you have Strauss Zelnick, that's a CEO of Take-Two, who spoke actually on how people perceive price and what it's going to cost. Here's what he said via IGN. Consumers pay for the value that you bring to them, and our job is to charge way less of the value delivery. How you feel about something you buy is the intersection of the thing itself and what you pay for. Consumers need to feel like the thing itself is amazing and the price they were charged was fair for what they got. He's right, you need to, in a sense, over-deliver, which Bungie doesn't do anymore, even if you're charging less in a sense, because it will make people go out and get your product day one. This is why you're seeing so many games that do well. Helldivers 2, Arc Raiders, Hades 2, Slay the Spire 2, a lot of 2s there. But they're all $40 or less pretty much and sold millions of copies. Well, why is that? Couldn't Supergiant Games charge $60 for a Hades 2? I mean, I guess they could. But these games and their price points are clear examples of what Strauss Zelnick is talking about. You charge less and you over-deliver so that when people actually do pay for it, they feel like they're getting a deal no matter what they paid. This way, the consumer feels like they got away with robbery, which is the best kind of thing you can have like someone feel, right? That the amount of gameplay you're going to get out of a Hades 2 or like an Arc Raiders for $40 is going to be great. But people are only going to feel that way because the price was in line with the expectations. That's the point. Now, you magically make every game $80 USD, which is like 90 to 100 Canadian. Most people are now like priced out of the whole hobby. A lot of Switch 2 games in Canada are over $100 easily. No wonder Nintendo slashed their console manufacturing by a third. It's not that people don't want to play these games, it's because they simply cannot afford to in the first place. For GTA 6, yes, they could charge $100, maybe $120 Canadian, I guess. And yeah, they would get away with it, but that's because GTA 6, according to Strauss Zelnick, is built upon that philosophy again of selling you something that is like over-delivering to such a degree that the price that you are paying for it, it seems like a steal based on what you are playing, right? Like Strauss Zelnick also said this to IGN to further his point. If you look at it through that lens, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that isn't the lens through which we look. Instead, we look at how do we deliver something amazing and how do we make sure that what people pay for feels very reasonable. That is a very good way of doing business, and in the long run, you're actually going to make more money than you would have too, right? Some may think, well, isn't it better to sell one copy at $100 than two copies at $50? But the reality is, if the game is good, you will make far more money charging $50 than you ever would charging $100, and that's just the truth. People need to feel like what they're paying for is valued. There are some games that maybe that can get away with their prices to some degree, like a Pokemon or GTA, but the majority of games cannot justify being more expensive because they will just be priced out and then cease to exist. You had some comments on IGN's Twitter for the same article where one guy would say this: unfortunately, most games aren't worth close to the current $70 price tag. That's why indies are thriving. I mean, yeah, absolutely right. You had this commenter who said it best: this also implies that consumers who expect GTA 6 quality from the other games when that is impossible, they will still charge $80 for a subpar game. Like exactly this. You're setting the industry up for failure by thinking that people will be accepting of these prices when they won't be. Either way, what is also a problem is that the push for GTA 6 to arrive on time, which is currently November 2026, who knows if they actually hit that target, but as Tweaktown reported here recently, Rockstar had some leaks again that they're facing, yet again, major crunch before release. Wow, this happens every single time. So the claims come from Glassdoor. That's a website where workers can rate their experiences working at different places. Rockstar, obviously like many others, they're on there, and their quality assurance testers are claiming that Rockstar is, well, running their teams into early graves pretty much, trying to get this game ready for launch. Employees are expected to work overtime, and apparently many routinely work until 3 a.m. to get things done. Some of the reviews claim that Rockstar has not paid overtime for these QAs on GTA 6, which is not good, and Rockstar is trying to get months worth of work done in much shorter time frames, which isn't really realistic. Like I said, currently November 19th, 2026, that is the release date for this game. At this point, I have no idea if it will actually launch that. It was supposed to launch in May 2026, but that's not happening, obviously. So if it does hit in November, we're about to see the biggest game launch of all time. But if these reviews from the ex-employees of Rockstar are to be believed, they're bleeding their workers dry to get this thing over the finish line. While researching though, Tweaktown had another article I went through as seen here, where an official government document leaked more information on the inner workings of Rockstar and just how expensive GTA 6 really is going to be to make. So according to the leaked documents as seen there from Tweaktown, the highlighted amounts of salaries being paid out, if you combined everything together, it means that Rockstar has spent roughly $2.1 billion on wages and salaries for their developers from 2019 to 2025 so far, which is an astronomical amount of money to develop a game. Like, isn't that like how much Avengers Endgame made like in its whole box office pretty much? The overall cost right now for GTA 6 to be finished is looking to be close to $3 billion billion in total, which is a lot, but that's what Rockstar and Take-Two are willing to spend to get this thing done. To make this seem even worse, Red Dead 2, by the way, costed somewhere between $370 to $540 million to make. Cyberpunk 2077, that was $436 million. And Modern Warfare 2, as in like the reboot game in 2019, that was $300 million, if not more, to develop. And even then, those were seen as egregious. That means you could make all three of those games and still not be close to the budget of GTA 6 alone. That being said, this is why the industry is pushing for more expensive games, but they don't seem to realize that price only works if your game is the premium of the premium releases like Rockstar games usually are. And if you're anybody else, you're going to be very disappointed when nobody shows up. I get it though, right? GTA 6, it's not just another sequel. I know it's going to be a cultural event when it comes out. And we need to realize what a game like this would mean for the broader games industry, because GTA 5, by the way, that didn't just sell well either. It dominated everything, and it still is. There's a reason why Rockstar never released a new GTA in the PS4 or the Xbox One gen cycle. They just remastered GTA 5 again. It's because they didn't have to. The game sells millions of copies every year since release in 2013. I think that's when it came out. But the reason why so much is riding on GTA 6 is because of what GTA 5 did for the industry when that released too. It lifted everything else around it. Like, more people were playing games because it, which means more engagement because they got the console, so they started buying other games, and that also leads to more spending, and that rising tide analogy again comes up, but this idea also comes with a risk too. Because when one product carries that much expectation, it becomes something else entirely, which is like a breaking point for everything. The return isn't always guaranteed, right? Even if Rockstar's next epic is an Elden Ring success story, it's still going to be considered a flop, which is, I mean, that's the truth. And that's where things get weird and uncomfortable, because while sure they want to make their games bigger, not only will profit margins go up, but so too will the cost to do it. And that risk will just keep increasing. So naturally, that's why this conversation is so heated right now around pricing. Because with games going up like they did from 60 to 70, thanks to NBA 2K, if you remember, it now becomes, can this even go further now? Because with how insane the budgets are becoming, something has to give. This is why GTA 6 and the conversation around it matters so much. Because if it launches at a certain price point, let's say it is 80 USD at launch, or I don't know, maybe even 90, and then it succeeds at that price, which it will because it's GTA, it doesn't just set a new record or anything, it then becomes a new precedent for where things can then go from there. And as we all know, if there's anything the game industry loves more than money, it's trends. These trends, man, like live service, hero shooters, open world game design, whatever it is, it spreads very, very quickly once it becomes the precedent. Because whenever something major proves that something works, like Overwatch with hero shooters, which game companies are still chasing, by the way, and failing at, this ripple effect then shoots outwards and it will touch everything. But the problem, in my opinion, is that the expectations for GTA 6 right now, they're basically becoming impossible to meet. Whatever someone has in their head for GTA 6, it might just not be good enough to meet. It has to be defining and dominant and everlasting. Because if it ends up being anything else, it's going to feel like a miss, and Rockstar really can't afford that. This is why the pressure is so high, because right now it feels like the entire AAA industry is waiting on GTA 6. They're not stopping, but they're waiting. They're watching, like fans in the stand watching a football game. They want to see what GTA 6 is going to do, but I think it's dangerous too also. Because if GTA 6 does meet expectations, it's going to influence and change how players expect future games across the board to feel, play, or look like, regardless of the genre. Their spending behavior will change absolutely, and the market direction of such a behemoth dropping will make the industry follow suit. And that is where this all gets dangerous, because let's be real, no one industry can depend on a single release. It's not healthy, no matter how big or successful it ends up being, because if those expectations get too high, which for GTA 6 they are, by the way, and the reality of what you bought doesn't match what you expected, the fallout from that isn't contained. It's going to spill over like a virus and spread. Look, most people waiting for GTA 6 aren't worried about the industry projections or the market trends from it. I know. They're just kind of thinking if this game is going to be worth what they spent on it, and that's the one thing that no model can really replace, and I get that. So the question for me to ask and wonder isn't, will GTA 6 succeed? Of course it will. Do you need oxygen to breathe? Obviously. Do you need sleep so you don't die? Yes, that too. It's going to sell tens of millions of copies immediately. Dude, those servers are going to crash. I guarantee you. We're probably going to see a PSN outage when it drops because everybody's going to be online at the same time, trying to connect to the servers, logging in and all that. I guarantee it's going to happen 100%. But the question I think is far more interesting and scary is to wonder, well, what happens after GTA 6 drops, you know? Does it reset the expectations of people? Will it raise prices and shift the priorities of an industry that's already at death's door? Or is it just going to stand alone at the top of Mount Olympus of game releases as something nobody can replicate or aspire to be? Either way, when this game releases, it's going to be like 50 spirit bombs going off at once. It's no exaggeration to say, and this sounds cliche, I know, but once GTA 6 launches and everyone sees what the makers of like Grand Theft Auto got cooking, I think the game will shape everything that comes next, and honestly, not for the better either. Not to mention how many other games that rely on their player bases to be healthy will be in a state of panic when everyone leaves to play GTA 6 instead, which will happen. Sure, the game won't be out on PC right away. Consoles are the focus for Rockstar. It's always been that way. And I guarantee you, once this game does come to PC like a year after launch or something, we're going to be seeing Steam player chart numbers of the likes we've never seen before. Millions of people logging on to Steam to feverishly play this too. So as it stands right now, the game industry wants games to cost more, but I don't think they're going to like that future if Rockstar does will that into existence. Because if you think your game now being $80 USD is going to save you somehow, you're also going to have to live in that new reality of your game being compared to Grand Theft Auto 6's quality to justify your new pricing. And let's be real, most games won't be able to justify it, if any. This is the industry's final warning, guys. I don't think you want this to become the new normal because you think you're going to make more. But in reality, you're just sending yourselves like lambs to the slaughterhouse without even knowing it. Either way, GTA 6 is coming like an Avengers level threat. What happens next is anyone's guess, but what do you think? Let me know. And thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check my QR code on screen or link in description to get ready for battle. Thanks for being here. Subscribe if you'd like to. This game is going to be an atom bomb when it goes off, man. Let's just hope there's an industry left after the dust settles.